meantime, we got another schedule announcement from a different conference that included Southern Miss in it. So there are now 2 conference schedules that feature Southern Miss, but this one is a heck of a lot better than the other. The SunBelt, or more affectionately called the Fun Belt, released their schedule today, and of course it does feature Southern Miss. So after the 4 non-conference games that you guys know about already, Liberty at home, at Miami, the U Miami, Northwestern State at home, and speaking of New Orleans, at Tulane, here is the conference schedule in the Sun Belt for Southern Miss. They start the slate in Week 5 at Troy, then they host Arkansas State, go to Texas State, host the Ragin' Cajuns, and then Georgia State a week later. They go to Coastal Carolina. You get to see Grayson McCall on the teal turf playing your Southern Miss Golden Eagles. They host South Alabama and go to ULM. Compare that to this. This is the Conference USA schedule Southern Miss is supposed to play this year, but they will get out of it. They won't play this schedule. But this is, if they don't make this move, what Southern Miss would have been playing this year. Louisiana Tech at UTEP, at North Texas, Texas San Antonio at home, Middle Tennessee State at home, at Florida International, Rice at home, and at UAB.
I mean, you talk about night and day. The difference, the quality of the schedule for Southern Miss in the Sun Belt versus Conference USA. It's not even remotely comparable how much better it is for the Golden Eagles to make this move.
What a bizarre situation, though. The fact that they are on 2 schedules. Now, most everybody and their brother, including a judge, by the way, in Forest County, I believe it's Forest County, is making sure that Southern Miss is going to be playing in the Sun Belt this year. But what a bizarre situation being featured on 2 separate conferences' schedules.
Not that I've ever heard of it. Don't know that I've ever seen anything like that in my life. But this is college football in 2022, where as much gets done in the courtroom as gets done in the on the gridiron itself. So I don't know.
It looks like the divisions, by the way, are slashed in the Sun Belt at the Georgia-Alabama border. So Georgia State and Coastal Carolina are non-divisional opponents for Southern Miss this year. So those will rotate. You've got Marshall in there. Old Dominion just joined the league. Appalachian State, obviously, in there. So that's the other half of the Sun Belt. Your division opponents are Troy, Arkansas State, Texas State, Louisiana, South Alabama, and ULM. That's who Southern Miss will play every year on a, obviously, home-and-home rotating basis.
Make sense.
Yes.
They just make sense. It makes a lot more sense than being in a conference with, just scattered all over the country and just no chance for any kind of regional rivalries, really.
And you can actually go. I mean, yes, Coastal's a long trip, but at least when you're making that long trip, you get to see Grayson McCall, right?
Yeah.
But you can drive to your road games at ULM and Troy. And Texas State's a bit of a haul. But everything.
Also, it's Texas A&M.
That
for a
too.
Mississippi State or an Ole Miss fan. I mean, that's just how, this is how it is sometimes.
But it's all here. It's grouped here, and you can create rivalries. I mean, how could Southern Miss ever have a rivalry with FIU? How could that ever materialize into something where there's familiarity, you make the trips, you've been to the town, they come to you, and there's a little something going on? You can't do that there.
No.
But you can do it with Arkansas State. You can do it with ULM. You can do it with Louisiana. You could do it with
Southern
Louisiana
ones especially.
Tech, but
South Alabama, ULL, Southern Miss. Those should be 3 pretty heated rivals through the years, you would think.
Josh and Laurel says, I love my Eagles, but this is not an easy schedule. It is not. It's quite difficult.
It's not. But that's the I guess that's the other side of the coin, right? Sunbelt's just a better football conference. Just is. So, I think I guarantee this, that if we could talk to Will Hall right now, the terms up to the challenge would be used. No question about that.
And here's the thing, Josh, and it's possible, although, I mean, you've gotten 10 SEC players to transfer into your program. That's not insignificant. And knock heavy on wood, Southern Miss won't deal with the injury issues that they dealt with last year to the point where they had to play Frank Gore Jr. at quarterback. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen to them this year. Seems unlikely based on precedent. But if you want to improve as a program, right? That's what we hear from Southern Miss fans all the time. You guys need to talk about Southern Miss more. Well, there was not a whole lot interesting there. Fans weren't showing up. Southern Miss fans, aside from you passionate ones, were kind of checking out. This is how you get back in.
Exactly.
This is how you get interesting again.
Exactly. And so now, we will have to wait and see, obviously, the outcome of all the lawsuits and everything else. But for the first time in a while, it feels like, with Will Hall down there, with what they were able to do in the transfer portal, it feels like Southern Miss is moving in the right direction. I thought they were when they hired Will Hall, but now you really start seeing like the train is starting to move for them a little bit. And I'm not going to be surprised if, one thing I always say, the old days for Southern Miss, they're gone, all right? And the days where Southern Miss could walk in and take on any SEC team and beat a lot of them, that's probably gone. But can Southern Miss be a powerful group of 5 program? Absolutely they can. Can they be a program that wins 8, 9, 10 games a year in this conference and win this conference? Absolutely they can. And Will Hall is I think his recruiting philosophy, going out and getting these Mississippi kids, using the portal to get the Mississippi State and the Ole Miss guys as they go and picking them off. I think he's going to be. I said it since day one. I think Will Hall will be successful.
It feels like it, especially. But what a step in the right direction for Southern Miss. I read something in The Athletic yesterday about the judges that are blocking, essentially giving a restraining order to the Conference USA, blocking them from litigating Southern Miss and Marshall and Old Dominion. I'm not a legal expert. Maybe we need to get our legal correspondent to come back in and explain us how a judge can file basically a restraining order on an entire conference. I would love to know how that is a thing, but apparently it's a thing. Yeah. And most people expect Southern Miss to be playing in the SunBelt this year, and this schedule that comes with it is exactly what fans have been asking for. And now you have to – it's not just a football team that has to respond. You guys do too. Yeah. I can't tell you the number of people that have emailed me, hey, Southern Miss fans really care. We really care. Now's the time to show it.
You got to show up. When's that first game? What's that? Give me that schedule again. When's the first home
Liberty
game?
At home. So interesting non-conference game to start the season with Liberty, although no Malik Willis.
Right, but still, I mean, Southern Miss fans need to start showing up. That needs to be a game where you get 25, 30,000 at the Rock. It needs to happen. You got to. Dan Mullen, for all his faults, one thing he said that was completely accurate is it's not that you start winning and the fans show up. It's the fans show up and then you start winning. You got to buy in. If you don't, you can't blame anybody for when it goes badly, because it's hard to recruit to a stadium that's 2/3 empty, and nobody wants to play for that. So you got to show up. We'll see if Southern Miss fans are up to the challenge.
Jay says it's good to hear something about Southern Miss that is positive going on since we've been in a slump the last few years. No doubt. I mean, we've said it every time a new SunBelt story comes up for Southern Miss. It's been positive. Our reaction has been positive because it's a great thing for you. But don't forget about your baseball team now. You got a pretty good one of those.
Yeah.
You haven't been slumping as a school this long, just football. Now getting some really good news. Luke